welcome to the socially isolated college kids podcast, The Snyder Cut.
Yay!
Yeah, we're doing, that's right, Zack Snyder's directing this episode of the podcast.
Wait, Zack?
That's right. I directed it. I directed
Absolutely
this episode.
true.
It's true. He did do that.
We've got, with me, it's me, Edison, and I've got Blake.
Oh, that's me.
It is Cameron.
Hello, comic book ordinary Cameron here.
And Zack Snyder.
Yeah! That's me.
And today we're talking about everybody's favorite movie that they either had no idea existed or knew way too much about. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I wouldn't go that far to say it's favorite. Oh well, it's a movie that came out that no one knew about.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about this
really
movie.
Is. We
What's that?
I was just gonna say that we really do live in a society.
Well, we really don't live in a society, but more on that later.
Actually, we really don't live in a
society.
society.
More on that later.
It's true, we don't.
That was so sad. But this movie is so weird because so many people have no idea what it is. I know what it is because I follow stuff like this, and as I'm sure you guys do. But so many people have no idea this exists.
Yeah.
I think part of it, is COVID.
Yeah, I think so, but like,
because I feel like if it wasn't the current situation that it is, we would be seeing ads for this like all over TV or whatever, seeing it in theaters near you.
Right, that's true.
But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, was it released in theaters even? It might have been.
I think it might.
Maybe.
It will be at some point.
For a 4-hour movie, I couldn't sit through that. I did this in 2 days.
Oh yeah, no.
This was a 2-day process for me.
It's different watching a 4-hour movie like in the comfort of your own home than being in a strange movie theater.
Yeah, I couldn't do it
for 4 hours. I couldn't do that.
I probably could.
So? Well, Endgame was 3 hours, wasn't it?
But that's different. Yeah. That was a better movie.
Whoa, hey.
I mean,
that's right. I went there.
True, but
yeah.
Whoa. Those are fighting words there, boys.
Well, we should probably get into this movie with some swiftness because it's 4 hours long. But I do want to go around and ask how everybody's week's been going, how everything's hanging.
I'm good. I had pink lemonade today.
Ooh.
Pink lemonade.
I have blue raspberry, I think, water. No, blueberry raspberry water. That's what it is.
Oh my gosh. I have just regular water. Kind of lame like that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. Do you have any cool water, Blake? Or lemonade?
Any cool water?
You have any fun flavored drinks?
Oh, well, I have a Diet Coke. I always have a Diet Coke next to me. It's not water.
That has water in it.
That's true.
So, yeah. No, it has water in it. I would count it as water.
Diet Coke flavored water. Well,
yep.
I think we should get into every single person's favorite segment of this entire show, the Edison movie.
The melon?
No, the Edison movie news segment.
I thought it was
it's everybody's. It's everybody's favorite.
It's true.
Okay, so here we go. I got quite a bit of a list, but I might skip some of these. So, first of all, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, with the little tails, has started production. It started.
Yes!
Oh boy.
That means we're going to see it in not too long.
That I'm excited for.
Great.
Ben Schwartz. I love Ben Schwartz.
I do love
Ben Schwartz. Is a character
from Parks and Rec?
He's in Parks and Rec. Middleditch and Schwartz on Netflix is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I absolutely recommend it.
I am a Sonic. That's my impression of Ben Schwartz.
Can we mute that part?
Yeah, why Zack just always be singing like the
theme songs. You guys want to hear the Electro song from Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No.
I'm good. So, what else is there in movie news?
So, weirdly enough, they have just announced a Puss in Boots sequel. Although I think it's a prequel.
Yes.
I'm not down with that.
Let's go.
It's releasing September 23rd, 2022.
Oh my god.
So that's kind of cool. That's kind of crazy.
Right,
I think it's a prequel though, story-wise.
Now I know where I'm going to be on September 3rd, 2022.
23rd.
Where does the Puss in Boots movie fall in the Shrek timeline? Is that
I think it's
a prequel to Shrek?
Yeah, I think it's prequel to Shrek.
Okay,
1.
so it's a prequel of a prequel. Gotcha. Right.
The Shrek cinematic universe.
The Shrooniverse.
It's the Simon Cowell cinematic universe.
The Ogreverse.
The SCU. So here's some news. I wrote this down just because I wanted to laugh at it a little bit. Everybody's favorite Addison Rae of TikTok fame has got her own Netflix movie.
Oh.
It's a gender swapped version of She's All That. It's coming out soonish, and that's starring Addison Rae, which is
Interesting.
it's something.
I don't know who that is.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think
She
I don't think you would.
she gets paid money to dance on a social media platform.
Yeah. For anybody
That's
who
it.
doesn't know, neither do I. So
I guess I'm just a boomer.
you really are, but so am I.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. They pay their followers. It's whatever.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Venom: Let There Be Carnage has been delayed until September 17th of 2021. So
How dare they?
this year.
Blake, what are your opinions on Venom: Wrath of Carnage? What's it called?
Let There Be Carnage. It is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it could be good. Carnage is a cool super villain.
No, it's
Carnage.
gonna
Carnage
be
is
bad
dope.
because I don't know what it is.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
a good
actually
point.
Yep,
That's
yep,
the,
good point, Blake.
Do you know that movie executives when they make their films actually specifically make them for Blake?
Well,
Yeah.
all the movies that we've reviewed so far have done a pretty shitty job.
Yeah,
Incredible.
true.
Yeah, that is true.
I just missed the mark a little bit.
A little bit, but what are they gonna do? Make every movie for Blake?
Yes.
They are.
They
They
already
totally
did.
could.
So they could, yeah. Martin Freeman is officially returning for Black Panther 2, so that's kind of exciting.
Yo,
I like him.
He
Okay.
The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, okay.
He is the Hobbit.
he is. The
He
Hobbit.
is the Hobbit.
He's in Civil War. I watched Civil
He
War
is.
the other day,
He's in Civil War.
and I was like, whoa, he's
Yeah,
in that one.
they had to set him up.
Yeah, he's also in Sherlock. Pretty good show.
He is
Um,
also in the Hobbit.
yeah. So Loki also. This is mostly superhero news, but I get into some new stuff after that. Loki is starting June 11th.
Yep.
On Disney
Oh,
Plus.
sick.
So there's 6 weeks of Falcon Winter Soldier, 5 more, I guess, which leaves it, that's like most of April, so May. So there's about a month in between any of the Marvel shows, unlike the
good.
1 week
Yeah.
break. All right, so this is exciting for a lot of people and not exciting for me at all. HBO is developing 3 new Game of Thrones spin-offs.
Oh.
So the first
Wow.
one is called The Nine Voyages, which follows the Great Voyages at Sea,
Yep.
made by I just wrote their names, but I haven't seen this show, so I don't know their names. By Corliss Veleron. Cameron, you've
All right.
watched this, right? You've
Yeah.
watched the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
was
I
that
know
right?
who you're talking. Yes, it's close enough. Close enough that I knew who it was.
Okay. The second one is called Flea Bottom, which is set in the poorest slum district in King's Landing.
Okay.
And then the third one is called 10,000 Ships, following Princess Namira after her defeat by the Valyrian Freehold.
Wow, the
Valerian.
Valerian
I believe it's Valerian.
Freehold.
Valerian, that makes sense.
That's
So-
cool. I like it. It's really cool.
Game of Thrones, that era of stuff, is so uninteresting to me for no reason.
Why?
I tried to play... I don't know. I could not tell you. I tried to play The Witcher 3, which is widely regarded as one of the best games, and I just can't.
This
I
is true.
can't get into
Listen,
any of it.
You play Dungeons and Dragons. It's the same thing.
Well, and that's funny because I love Dungeons and Dragons, and that's the only thing that I
What?
love. Though
That's
that's
what
so
The Witcher
different.
is. That's what Game of Thrones is.
Edison, Dungeons and Dragons is the only thing that you love?
The only thing that I love, and
You don't
Zach.
love me?
No, I beat you to
there
it.
we
I
go.
love you, Zach.
There we go.
Yeah, I love you, Zachy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
an
A
little
Ace
hot-headed.
Ventura, yeah, right. An Ace Ventura sequel's in the works at Amazon.
Is
They
it
listed
weird?
it
Realsies?
for realsies. They listed it as a third one. However, there were 3 already, so
Okay.
technically it's the
What
fourth
is
one.
that?
It
It's
was
with,
a Jim
Jim Carrey.
Carrey, yeah. movie,
Oh.
Though they haven't said anything about Jim Carrey being in the new one, so I can't say
I feel
for
like
sure.
they should
Okay.
totally at least put him in the movie because those are probably some of his
That's his
best
character.
movies.
I've never seen him.
They're really good. I highly recommend it. It's an interesting concept, and Jim Carrey is actually funny because he's playing. It's funny when Jim Carrey plays Jim Carrey.
He's just like being himself.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out. That'll be out on Amazon Prime, probably, but they might license it out. We'll see. So Jake Gyllenhaal is starring in a new war movie called Combat Control.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I do too. That's actually why I wrote this down, because there isn't really any information about it other than it is Jake Gyllenhaal, who I like a lot. So that's kind of cool.
Agreed.
So I have some DC news to go along with the Snyder cut stuff. But separate...
Hold on. While we were talking about Disney Plus Marvel, I think I just saw on my YouTube feed that Black Widow is coming out in July and will have a simultaneous release in theaters as well as paid on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
that I did see.
I have that written down, Zach. Maybe let me get to it,
sorry.
Zach. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, Edison.
Well, no, I'm fine. I was just kidding.
Do you still love me?
A little less.
Oh no.
They did, so it's premiere access for that one, but as well as that, they also announced that the Pixar film Luca is coming on June 18th, but that one doesn't cost any extra because that's a Pixar film, which seems to be what they're doing these days.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
What's Luca about?
It's about two mermaid boys.
I'm already out. I'm sorry, I'm not watching the movie. I'm good.
I'm in. I think that's great.
It's set in Italy, and I've only seen the trailer, and basically they're like trying to like fit in as two boys. Also, if they touch water, they turn into mermaids.
So it's the
Merman.
So it's the Nickelodeon show H2O, but like a movie.
It is H2O, but Pixar. Yeah.
So Pixar and two mermaid boys in Italy.
Yeah. But it's free, so you can watch it. Maybe we'll watch it for this podcast.
I don't like the character.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not a fan of the character design, so I would say a fat no from me.
I actually am. We'll debate it on a later date because this is going to be a long episode, but I do like that design. Anyway, so DC, along with a lot of other announcements following the Snyder Cut, they announced a Zatanna movie, who is, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically she's a magician, right? Is the idea?
She's like a magician, and all of her spells she says backwards. That's her thing.
Interesting. And so this movie is going to be directed by Emerald Fennell, who directed Promising Young Woman, which is one of the leading Oscar films this year. So that's very interesting, I think. I haven't seen it, but I want to see it. I don't know what it's on.
We'll find out at some point.
Yeah. Anyway, Jamie Foxx is playing Mike Tyson in a Mike Tyson biopic.
That's perfect. That's actually perfect.
Electro song?
Right? No, you can't.
Oh. Okay.
There are two people I would have cast as Mike Tyson, and it's Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. But Michael B. Jordan already played Apollo Creed, so I mean, either of them could work.
Too, I guess
he totally could have. He would have been a great Mike. Jamie Foxx
could have cast Mario
too. Could have cast Mario
in everybody's favorite fighting game, Punch-Out, where Mario is the judge. All right, three more bits actually. So Netflix is developing a live-action film and a follow-up anime series based on Keanu Reeves' Berserker. So I had never heard of Berserker before, but apparently Keanu Reeves made it or was involved in some sort of the process, and it's basically like a brutal warrior type thing throughout the ages. And Keanu Reeves is set to produce and star in the film and also voice the character in the anime. So he's doing a lot of that. And my mom hates Keanu Reeves, so she won't watch that. For many, many reasons.
Oh, no.
I've actually never seen Keanu Reeves in anything ever, so I have no opinion on him.
I've seen it.
He was in SpongeBob.
Cyberpunk. He is in SpongeBob. I didn't watch that one, though.
Yeah, if you look up Berserker, it has a 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb and has a 7% Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, the comic does.
No, the movie.
Oh, there's a movie already?
This might be a different movie away from.
I didn't know there already was one.
I think this is a completely separate movie. It's a movie called Berserker. It's in 1987. It is a horror slasher movie. I don't even think Keanu Reeves is in it. He's not even in it. This is just a completely different thing.
Very interesting. All right, so speaking of my mom, though, So just this week, I think it was yesterday, but because we're recording this ahead of time, you'll never know, listener. You'll never know when she got kicked off of our friend's Hulu. So we talked about the Netflix thing happening.
No.
We talked about the Netflix thing, how they were going about and saying like, hey, we know that you're not living with this person and we know you're not the same family. So we were hoping, that nothing would happen, but this did actually happen to our Hulu account, or theirs. That's not the one I use, but and that we weren't even expecting Hulu to do it. So that seems to be something that all of the streaming services are testing or just starting to do.
Well, that's cringe.
It is cringe.
Big
Zach,
cringe.
you brought up that you use your family's Netflix, but you live in a different place,
Facts.
And how is it fair that they can kick you off just because you don't live with them at college,
I know, right? It's whack.
Yeah, stick it to the man.
It is whack. Yeah, because the Hulu one kicked her off because they're not in the same zip code.
Cringe.
So cringe.
Very cringe.
So I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of scary, but
Shout outs to Edison's mom.
Yeah, shout outs, the weekly shout out to my mom. And finally, in DC news, that's not, well, it is Justice League. The Snyder cut, or Snyderverse rather, is not happening. They said officially the next 2 movies that he wanted to do are not happening.
What if it is happening though?
It could happen, but luckily for us, that means we don't need to watch another 8 hours of movies over 2 movies.
Yay.
See, but all right, we can talk about that, I guess, when we get more spoilery. But I actually would be down to watch the follow-up to this movie.
Yeah, I would love to watch the Apocalypse one.
Yeah,
but I think that it's time we get into the Justice League.
It's time.
All right.
Shall I summarize the film?
Zach, give us that quick summary.
All right. So, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, going across the world, searching for enhanced individuality.
Wow.
Sorry. Hold on. Batman's going around looking around for enhanced individuals to fight an incoming alien threat that wants to collect the Infinity Stone, the Mother Boxes, so that they can have the power to destroy the world and the universe. And
just the world. That's it. Earth.
Well, maybe it's just Earth. I don't know.
Well, for now it is.
For now it is. It really is just Avengers Endgame, isn't it?
It's just a shitty Avengers Endgame, yeah.
It's DC's attempt to try to catch up with the MCU, I guess.
It really is. Like, it's not even close.
Here's my take on it, right? You look at when the MCU started, they were not planning on this whole universe thing. They said, let's make a movie. If it does well, we'll make more. So they made Iron Man. Iron Man was really successful. They're like, hey, we got something here. We can keep going with this. Give or take, or maybe, I think it's 4 movies, right? You get the first group film, Marvel's The Avengers. That's good spacing, right? DC comes out with, or in the DC universe, they have Man of Steel, and then they have Batman v Superman, and then Justice League. All of which are pretty bad in their own respect.
Man of Steel's all right.
Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, which is on HBO Max, which I rewatched recently, I will say is actually a certified banger. Not the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman. The Snyder cut of Batman v Superman is actually sick.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to catch up to Marvel too quickly, and they're not doing a good job at it.
Right, they're not doing anything. They're just like trying.
They're making movies to make a universe.
Yeah.
Blake, what are your opinions on the DC characters?
In general or in the movie?
In the movie.
Well, you know how frustrating it is that in the opening scene they keep going from person to person and place to place, and you have absolutely no idea what's going on, and then they keep adding more characters, and they tell you the whole backstory, which is great, so like you know what's happening, but they just keep adding more and more about characters who I don't know and I don't care about. So I'm just confused the whole time. And yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, this movie is not at all made for a general audience.
Oh no, not at all.
It's made for the three of us and not Blake.
Yeah.
To put
which is weird. Which is weird because most movies are made with Blake in mind.
That's why this movie is so groundbreaking. Is because it's the first movie ever to not be made for Blake.
That's why the fans are so excited.
That's right.
Truly.
The whole Snyder cut thing is just they don't want movies to be made for Blake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm personally fine with movies being made for Blake.
I'd like to point out, so, and you know, a lot of people hark on this. It's a 4-hour movie. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything related, like, you don't see the Justice League until, I believe, around 2 hours in. Yeah, 2 hours in, close to the 3-hour mark.
Someone did the math,
actually close to 2 hours.
10% of this movie is in slow motion.
That's
not
too
enough.
much.
Sounds about right.
Not enough.
That's why the movie is 4 hours long. Is because
they just kept slowing it down.
Actually, we get to see Batman climb over mountains, which we didn't need to see.
I actually like that. I thought it looked cool.
And then we see everything in slow motion. But granted, the slow motion stuff for the Flash is really
oh my gosh,
beautiful.
It's so cool.
Slow motion for everything else is pretty awful.
Yeah,
and I don't need to
the
see
Flash stuff is absolutely the best speedster stuff we've seen since Days of Future Past by far.
I really like the Flash in this movie. I thought the Flash was cool.
I hate the character. I think he's dumb and I hate him, but I like the Flash stuff.
Yeah, I hated him at first glance.
Yeah, I want to say overall, I like this movie.
Yeah, let's get some general impressions.
Right, I watched it in 2 sittings because it's split up into chapters, and I watched the first 3 or 4, and then watched the last half of it, and I genuinely enjoyed it.
Cameron?
My initial gut reaction after watching it was I wasted 4 hours. Didn't really gain much from it. Looking back, it's definitely better than the first League. I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
because some of the the secondary villain, Steppenwolf looks amazing. I didn't realize how bad he looked in the first movie compared to this one.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it when I was watching the first one in 2017 that he looked that bad.
General reaction, I didn't like it. It's definitely not the best DC movie. It's probably second. Shazam is the best by far.
Oh, I always forget about Shazam. Shazam's good.
Shazam is really good. Not directly a DC film.
Yeah.
In this universe.
Well, Wonder Woman's pretty good. The first one.
No, it's Captain America. It's Captain America for girls.
It's good.
Lots of same.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree as well, but it's also just good. Like, it's a good movie.
It's a decent movie. I'd rather watch Snyder Cut Justice League than the first Wonder Woman. I'm going to say it.
I like them both about the same, I think.
Blake, how do you feel about Justice League? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm done. I'm just saying that. Wonder Woman.
So, you know when your day starts off really bad and then the rest of your day just kind of sucks, and not for any reason, but mostly because your day just kind of started off bad. That's my impression on this movie. Because it started off so chaotic and confusing for me, and I got a small brain, I can't process things very quickly. So when that I had no idea what was going on, so I was kind of just in a bad mood for the rest of the movie because I did not know what was happening and I was very confused. And I didn't really feel very much when there were more genuine, intimate moments in the movie. I didn't, because I don't know the characters or know their stories, the people who I'm supposed to know.
Right. Well, I was actually going to ask, you do know the characters though, right? Like, Superman and Batman.
Yeah, but I didn't know that Superman had obviously he has a love interest, but I didn't know any of, I didn't know what was, what that was.
The Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, it's super fair though, because I feel like a lot of the film is kind of assuming that you have a lot of knowledge, and then so to not know certain things about what's going on, I can imagine why you would be so frustrated.
Yeah, there were so many like, long moments in the movie where like it's referring to things, and I didn't pick up on that, like, and so it just felt like wasted time and made the 4 hours a lot longer than I'm sure it was for you guys.
Right. I mean, watching this movie without the precursors, I think would be like watching like Avengers Infinity War without watching any of the other Marvel movies before.
Yeah. And by the way, that's rough. Like I watched Infinity War with my dad, and my dad has like seen like a couple of the Marvel movies, but like wasn't really invested, and like he was confused.
Yeah.
He had no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's to blame. Like, I don't know if it's the movie you should blame. I feel like in the case of the Marvel stuff, all of the Marvel things were so huge that everybody was seeing them. But then, like, who's watching the DC? Like, who's watching Batman v Superman
Except
besides
for me.
right,
just
us,
me.
just Zack.
Like you could totally watch the first Avengers movie without watching the previous movies because there's enough.
That's true.
There's enough character growth in that movie. Whereas in Justice League, all the characters are stagnant, I guess, for the Cyborg, which is character not even great.
Yeah. So here, that is one thing about this movie. The Cyborg, it is insane to me that Warner Brothers cut Cyborg out of the first cut.
He's the best character.
He's the driving force of that film. The entire film is about him. Like, no doubt in my mind, the entire film is about him. They cut him out of the entire film.
Backstory. He's got the most character development. I cared about him the most. I mean, I didn't. Okay, so here's another thing. Is like I agree with Blake in that like I felt zero emotions this entire film. Like not a single emotion.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, I don't know, that's just out of nature about how the film is, but like generally speaking, have any of you guys seen the 2017 cut of this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
No.
You guys have? I saw it in 2017, and I remember barely anything about it, probably because it's one of the most forgettable movies made, maybe.
It really is.
But one thing I love about this movie is I love that it exists, just from the standpoint of like a bunch of fans saw the Justice League, as it's called, which, if for people that don't know, Zack Snyder, who directed this version of the Justice League, was originally supposed to direct the other Justice League, but had a family tragedy and had to step down. And this guy named Joss Whedon took over and did some things that were not great. And then the movie ended up kind of sucking also. So I really like the idea that the fans were able to rally so much support that they were able to get an entire 4-hour movie made. And like this movie is like super different than the other one.
It is. Though I do have to say, I don't think Joss Whedon is to blame. I mean, Joss Whedon, for anybody who doesn't know, directed the first Avengers film, one of the most iconic films, ever, right? So it's not like he's a bad director or doesn't know what he's doing with superheroes. So the fact that that original movie was so bad is like, it's so confusing to me. I don't understand it.
I think he was just given a bad hand.
Yeah,
I disagree. I prefer Snyder's vision than Joss's 20 billion times out of 10.
No, I do too, but
that's what we're saying. Yeah.
Right, I don't know what happened with Joss Whedon because it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like that's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, well, I would imagine it's a troubled production because Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon are total opposite filmmakers in terms of tone, style, and how they work. So I guess so. You're right, Cameron, in that it was probably very difficult for Joss Whedon to take over a Snyder project.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I have some general fun little things before we. I think it's going to be a waste of time to go scene by scene because there's so many scenes in this movie.
There's too many scenes, and most of them are pointless. You could get rid of 5 of the scenes and make it 3 hours.
Absolutely. However, before we get into a little more in-depth things, so spoilers from here on out. Jared Leto's Joker does not say that we live in a society. He doesn't say it.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I was so disappointed. When he didn't say it.
They debated us.
They really did. And then Zack Snyder came out and said that was Jared Leto's idea, the we live in a society thing. And I mean, I guess. What? I mean, trailers have always been like misleading, right? I mean, that's what they're for. They can't give away the story. But come on. The most iconic Joker line. It's not even Joker doesn't even say it in anything, does he? Really?
No.
No.
Right. It's just like a bit.
It's just a line that the fans made.
Right. So the fact that they put it in a trailer pretending like they were going to put it in this movie and then didn't makes me so upset. You want to make this a movie for the fans? Put in We Live in a Society. Where's the We Live in a Society cut?
Honestly, him saying we live in a society would have made that scene maybe not bad.
I thought that scene was okay.
I would have probably disliked that more than I already do if he said that. I thought it was I hate Jared Leto's Joker. I hate his.
I didn't like him. I don't like
Joker.
him in Suicide Squad, but I thought he was kind of fun in this one.
I liked that scene.
Yeah, that seems pretty fun. I think.
Mainly because I don't know, it's kind of fun. Like obviously, I know that's one thing I know, the Joker and Batman. So from someone from an outsider's point of view, I thought that was kind of neat that they were like talking to each other.
Right. Well, and Blake, you
too.
probably don't know this, but in all of the Zack Snyder universe DC movies, the Joker and Batman never on screen meet once.
Oh.
This is the only time they do, and it's in a dream. Basically, people think that the reason that the scene exists is just so that they can meet ever, in any of his movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
And it's also kind of cool because in the lore of the Snyder DC movies, Joker kills Robin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just canon.
Right. Right, because of the suit.
Here's my beef with the Joker Batman scene is that, I mean, I could tell that they shot them both separately, which is what they did, which means that like one day they got Jared Leto in a studio and shot his part, and then they got Ben Affleck back and shot his part, because there were some really weird editing choices, and I didn't like how when they were like panning on Jared Leto's face, that it was like the sun was like right there and was like kind of blinding your eye.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd.
Zack Snyder loves the sun. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He loves it.
He really does. The Superman shot with the sun is cool, I think.
Oh yeah.
But there are two things about that. So Jared Leto and Ben Affleck were not in the same room when they shot that scene. That was two separate cuts put together, like officially. I didn't know if you knew that officially or not.
Yeah.
And then second of all, I mean, there was the poster that came out for a promo of Jared Leto's Joker as Jesus. And I think that the sun thing was trying to be like, he's angelic, but also he's awful. Trying to put some sort of theme that just doesn't exist in there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there was no indication of that in the movie.
Right, other than like one promo that could have literally just been whatever, because the promos didn't matter at all, apparently.
Yeah, because we don't live in a society after all.
We don't live in a society. Apparently. What do we live in then? A rock? God. I needed this movie to tell me what we lived in. Now I'll never know.
Wow.
So, speaking of weird cameos, though, the end of the movie has the Martian Manhunter come down.
Guys, I never realized that Martian Manhunter was always Superman's mom, and that Martian Manhunter raised Superman as a baby.
That's right. The whole time.
So, that was a joke. When I watched. So there's a scene in the movie where Lois is depressed because Superman's dead. They haven't revived him yet. So there's a scene in the movie where Clark's mom shows up to talk to Lois at her apartment because Lois is grieving over Superman's death. At first, I thought the scene was pretty unnecessary, but it was a touching moment between the two characters. But then it gets totally it gets deprived of all emotion because then she leaves the apartment and then it's Martian Manhunter. And then Martian Manhunter turns into this other person.
Right.
And I thought they weren't going to touch on it for the rest of the movie. And then he just shows up at the end of the movie. He's like, hey, you let me know when you need me and I'll be there. And Batman's like, yeah, I'm going to trust this dude that I never met before, came from the sky. Yeah, I got you, man.
Well, he can fly,
Batman is not that trustworthy. He never is.
What are you talking about?
No. Well,
How does it
there
agree?
is this whole thing throughout the film where Batman is all of a sudden like a man of faith, which is like
A weird character choice.
it is. It's kind of interesting because it kind of deviates from anything that we know about Batman, and that's kind of interesting, I guess. There's no reason for him to do that, but
Can I be real?
it's something different. What's that?
I am a Batman guy. Easily my favorite DC superhero, probably one of my favorite of them all, the superheroes. But I will say I was disappointed with the amount of Batman actually being Batman in this movie.
I don't think
Yeah,
there was
there
enough.
was not
They
a
didn't
lot.
showcase
I just
it.
wanted one
Wow.
scene where Batman like beat up some guys in like Gotham.
Like in Batman v Superman. That was a fantastic scene, and he totally killed like half those people but fine. That was a great
Yeah,
scene.
he beat.
Arguably the
He
best
was
of the
just
movie.
killing people. Oh, I forgot to mention this though, but Martian Manhunter in that scene was originally supposed to be a Green Lantern.
I love
Oh, that
that.
would have been so much better.
Well, here's the thing: is it was supposed to be Green Lantern, and then Warner Brothers came to Zack Snyder and they were like, "Hey, we have plans for the Green Lanterns. Can you not?" And he was like, "Can I?" And they were like, "No." And so that's how we ended up with Martian Manhunter, because he originally said it was going to be a huge cameo that would blow everybody's minds. But Martian Manhunter's in
Ryan
the film.
Reynolds.
It was not going to be Ryan Reynolds. It was not
Good.
But Ryan Reynolds did tweet out that he still has the Green Lantern ring,
He
and
does,
he had
yep.
never watched he'd never watched the
Yep.
film before, and he was going to watch it.
Honest, but whoa, hey, Green Lanterns do show up in this movie.
They do.
They do.
Well, that's the weird part about it, is because in that like prequel fight scene, there is a Green Lantern who dies. He dies real
Yeah.
bad. That man dies.
I love seeing him fight though.
Yeah,
That was probably the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
it was pretty cool. But it was so it was supposed to be Green Lantern, and it was not supposed to be Hal Jordan is the Ryan Reynolds one, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was not supposed to be Hal Jordan. It was supposed to be the
Oh,
other famous one.
John Stewart.
John Stewart. It was supposed to be John Stewart.
Ooh, that would be great.
Yeah, so that was the plan, but then that got kind of scrapped, and it got turned into Martian Manhunter, and then it was like, what?
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
I mean, Martian Manhunter is really cool, and I'm happy that
he is pretty cool.
he has this. I think this is like his second live action appearance. I think he was in Smallville. Smallville or Supergirl
cool.
was one of the two. But he hasn't
Yeah,
had.
he was on Teen Titans.
How do you guys feel about the music in this movie? Maybe Blake, you wanna you wanna chime in on the music in this movie?
Yeah, Blake, you go first.
I didn't love it. I hate to be like a buzzkill, but if I'm gonna be watching like an epic action movie, again, I'm not an action movie person. I was expecting like something different, honestly. I did watch some videos like comparing the other cut version of this or whatever compared to this one.
The Justice League.
Justice League, if you
I
will.
don't know, but the music sounded better in that one than in this one, and I don't know if they were different. I don't know what they're called.
It was a whole different score, I think.
Composer.
Okay.
It was different.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
that score better than this one. I don't know, it didn't do anything for me, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Right. About 20 minutes into the film, I wrote down in my notes here that if I had only watched that part and nothing more, you easily could have convinced me. This is just past the Aquaman Towns scene. You easily could have convinced me it was a musical. Like, so easily.
Yeah.
They're just
Well, that's
singing.
what I was gonna
Everybody's
say,
singing all the time.
That was such a stupid scene.
They got
That was
great
a dumb
sweaters,
scene.
though.
That was a
They
dumb
got great
scene.
clothes.
One of the things I was like, I actively thought about the music when I was watching it was like it was all over the place in terms of style and like what kind of music they would pop in and like what kind of songs they would choose. Like I feel like I don't understand why they had to play like a pop song when Aquaman walked toward the waves, or when there was another song playing when Flash was saving the girl and getting a hot dog for the dog.
But that was different because that was stylistic music, and that fit the scene really well.
I know, but I just
But this
felt
was
like
this was four Norwegian girls singing at the ocean.
oh, that,
Right, and
oh,
I
you're
know
talking
that-
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, tonally, I know that this is not a Marvel movie. And I know that I shouldn't be comparing this to Marvel movies because it's a different franchise, but it's gonna happen, right? Because it's the other,
Mm-hmm.
the
It's
other
the competing
side
company, yeah.
right, it's the other side of the coin. what this movie needs is like a Back in Black while they're batting around what's his name, Steppenwolf. You know, at like in that last fight scene where Superman comes in and they're batting him around like a volleyball. It needs something where it's like makes it fun. You know, because I like that scene. It is fun to watch them bat around Steppenwolf and cut his head off.
Yeah. I'd also like
something. It needs something like a fun song that people know instead of like some Norwegian girls singing. You know?
Yeah. I think it's funny how I think it's every time Wonder Woman does anything in the movie, it's that stupid Amazonian chant song. Every time she does something in the movie, it's just
actually
this loud choir.
Wonder Woman's theme song is absolutely the best one though. That one's so cool.
But it's played too often. No, her theme in like the original Wonder Woman is really good. Her theme in this movie
it's in this one
played.
Too.
I probably missed it, but the weird
it's
chanting
in the scene where
play,
she vaporizes the bank robber. That guy dies. She
killed a lot of people in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, she also missed a bullet when she was doing her thing.
I don't think she missed a bullet. She didn't.
Well, she does miss a bullet, but it doesn't.
She missed.
Oh, that's true.
But there's no way it doesn't hit them.
But it didn't, though.
I think she was.
I like Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is Pog.
I like Wonder Woman too. She doesn't get a lot of play in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I like her. That theme song happens in that scene, and I always love when that theme song plays.
I will say I felt as though Gal Gadot's acting was kind of stiff, personally.
A lot of the acting in this movie was a little stiff.
That's actually pretty fair.
Not Ray Fisher's dad, but the scientist that was like his right-hand man.
Who is most likely the Atom?
He is the Atom.
Okay.
He was awful. He was awful.
I thought he was one of the best side characters in the movie.
I thought he was terrible, like acting-wise.
Actually, you know what? I disagree. Iris is the best side character in the movie.
Why? Because she says one line and then doesn't show up for the rest of the movie?
It's some of the best acting I've ever seen in slow-mo.
What, falling?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'm gonna be real. This movie this movie definitely contains the most acting I've ever seen in slow-mo.
It really has.
There's
10%
so much slow-mo. Why?
It's
there are two things that Zack Snyder loves: slow-mo and the sun, and Jesus imagery when he can get away with it. And you see that in like 300. There's so much slow-mo in 300. But 300 was also
doesn't look good, you know?
It doesn't. The only redeeming quality of the slow motion is whenever the flashes. Most of that stylistically is gorgeous. Moving past away from his elongated arms as he runs. It just looks good. I mean, like, I would believe that more than like every other, like the Flash in the TV show or whatever, and they just run like normal. You wouldn't be running like normal if you're going the speed of light. Also, he casually breaks his rule, which is to never go past the speed of light. He breaks it like 3 times.
Yeah, like twice. 3 times?
It's probably twice. But he's like, you gotta break your rule, Barry. You gotta go faster than light.
God, I hate him. I
actually don't hate him. I think Ezra Miller is entertaining and funny.
I like Ezra Miller. I think he sucks in this movie.
Why?
I think he's like so cringy in not a fun way.
Blake, how do you feel about Ezra Miller as the Flash?
I didn't mind it, honestly.
Hell yeah!
Sorry, Edison.
I'm surprised they didn't recast the Flash after his little scandal.
Ezra Miller had one? Or?
Yeah, he choked a woman like on video.
Yo. What?
Yeah, that's like, and people were like, why is he in the movie? He like choked someone on a video.
Well, I don't think Ezra Miller has like been like canceled though, right?
No, he hasn't. But DC has an issue with canceling actors and actresses that have been
people.
Oh yeah, what's
DC?
Amber Heard is the word.
DC specifically.
Amber Heard
doesn't like actors and actresses that choke people.
That's true.
No, but it's
only DC.
And then Amber Heard's in the movie, and she didn't have to be in the movie. They could have just recast her.
They could have, but they didn't want to reshoot anything. And the Flash is going around picking up some hot dogs in slow motion.
And he puts them in his pocket. Like
pocket hot dogs.
How
are those hot dogs not getting vaporized? You know,
I would.
Maybe it's cooking the hot dog.
Because realistically, it should have cooked the hot dog and then exploded it in his hand.
Vaporized
well, it's already cooked.
Hot dog.
Oh yeah, no,
it's
yeah.
Not a raw hot dog. It's not a raw dog.
Should have just blown up in his hand. Like, I would have totally believed if they didn't show him doing that, and then they cut to him sitting in the middle of the dog pit, and then he has the hot dog. I would have believed that he just grabbed it. I don't need to see him look at Iris, move her hair, look, see a hot dog, grab it, put it in his pocket, go back to Iris, move her to the ground. That's why this movie's 4 hours long. Grab the hot dog and put it in his pocket.
I do have to say, because of the hot dog released the hot dogless cut.
I definitely agree that the hot dog is the most problematic part of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, the hot dog didn't choke anybody. The hot dog didn't choke anybody.
True.
Not that we know of.
Yeah, whoa.
I've choked on
we need to launch an investigation, guys.
Yeah. I just feel like that. I don't know. I like the Flash as a character. I like Ezra Miller. I like him being the Flash. I hate him as Barry Allen.
Yeah, they dumbed him down as Barry Allen.
Yeah, because he's a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, Barry Allen, the character outside of these movies, to be honest. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. He's like had his whole thing with his dad or whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm into it.
His dad was cool.
His dad.
I liked his dad. Was he?
I just
I liked him. He did, however, he's not coming back for the Flash movie because of scheduling conflicts, so that's kind of sad.
Guys,
the actor is not.
I hear that Michael Keaton is going to play Batman in the Flash movie.
Oh,
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that too, actually.
And I think that's kind of pog, personally.
I think that's kind of fun.
Why do they change the superheroes so often? Like the people who play
because DC is still trying to figure out who people like as those heroes, so they're kind of throwing names on they have like a bunch of pictures of actors and they throw darts at it. They're like, Michael Keaton play Batman. They'll like Michael Keaton.
I disagree. Yeah. I don't think it's as much of that as I think they would like Ben Affleck to be Batman, but I think there's so much that goes into actually making these movies, and there's especially with just to address it, like, there's more controversy surrounding Joss Whedon than just he directed a bad 2017 Justice League. There was some significant, like, behind the scenes stuff that happened on that movie that, like, wasn't, like, super cool, and, like, a lot of the Justice League cast talks about the 2017 Justice League. It's like even like there's an interview with Ben Affleck just talking about how miserable of a time it was. So I feel like I think it's more an issue of Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore than like, oh my god, we need to find a new Batman to reinvigorate the crowd's, like, excitement.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't. Mm-hmm. Well, also, isn't that Flash movie supposed to be Flashpoint?
It is Flashpoint.
Oh god, they're gonna try and reset it already? I mean, I'd be totally down with the reset.
Well, I think it's Flashpoint because I think it's the connection between getting out of, like, the new movies and getting out of the Snyderverse.
I like the Snyderverse.
Because it is the next one. I like it too, but I think they want to get out of it. So, and I think it's supposed to be Flashpoint, so maybe that's the idea of having a Michael Keaton Batman.
Well, also Ben Affleck is going to be in that movie too.
Because
exactly.
So in Flashpoint, when he goes to the future, it's Thomas Wayne. That's Batman. So they could have Michael Keaton play Thomas Wayne. But that means he gets a gun. Because Batman, Flashpoint carries clocks.
I think they're going the route where they're not going to do the exact Flashpoint story from the comics. They're just going to do, like, their own, like, DC Cinematic Universe version of Flashpoint where he runs into Michael Keaton's Batman from Michael Keaton Batman Land.
Gosh, that movie's so good. The animated one.
They should. I mean, I'd kind of hope that they follow the Flashpoint storyline because that's.
I mean, who knows?
One of the best in DC. But yeah,
it's probably like the best DC story.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the animated movie?
I have.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good. You got to check that out.
I will say the DC animated universe is far superior than the Marvel animated universe and the DC cinematic universe.
It is. Yeah.
All the movies are just great.
This is unconnected to the story point we were talking about, but the bank scene, right, with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The beginning of that scene was interesting because I was watching it and it felt very like Hitman. You know the games Hitman.
Mm.
It almost felt like I was watching a Hitman movie. That was good.
Dude, I love Wonder Woman's like, what are they? Wrist metal things.
The bracelets, yeah.
Dude, you make an armor out of it, right?
I love how she's just like flapping her arms around and blocking all the bullets.
That looks so stupid. That looked so stupid.
I loved it.
I thought it was fun, but
I loved it.
I don't think it was bad, but it did not look good.
I think
it was a fun stupid.
It was just weird.
What were you saying, Blake?
the costumes were cool.
True.
I mean, yeah.
How do you guys feel about the black Superman
Cyborg.
suit? Blake, how do you feel about the black Superman suit?
It's black.
You're right.
I like it. I like it more than his red suit.
I saw in a video they were saying that that's like making a reference to like the comics or whatever. So I appreciate that. You know, attention to detail and stuff.
You know how I feel about the black Superman suit? I think when he stands next to Batman, I feel like it's like one of them has to change.
Like you wanted that line to happen?
No, I think that one of them should change. They look too similar.
Oh,
imagine Batman shows up in a red and blue Batman suit.
Dude, that's kind of sick.
Actually, in canon, there's a version of Batman that has a purple, yellow, and red Batman suit. He's like
that
a Superman
sounds
Batman.
Gross.
That does sound
it's
like the
pretty
Prowler.
disgusting. It's like no, but it's not like a good Prowler, right? It's the cowl, the cape, and the gloves. I think are purple, and then like the arms and legs are yellow, and then the centerpiece is red.
Dude, it sounds like a Wiggles themed Batman suit.
Maybe it is.
It's pretty bad.
I want to talk about the Superman suit a little bit more. So in the comics, the black suit is the regeneration suit for when he dies and comes back to life, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have his powers at full capacity. And that's why he's wearing the black suit, because it's helping him come back to life and get all his powers back.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he wearing it?
You want to know why?
I mean, is he
powers back?
No, because he has his powers.
Ready? When they shot this movie originally in 2017, the studio would not let Zack Snyder use the black suit initially, so they shot him in the red and blue suit, and then I believe in the 2017 version it is the red and blue suit that you see on screen.
It is.
And so for this movie, they didn't reshoot all the scenes with Superman. They just color coded it black, like using digital effects. And so I guess they just didn't spend the money or take the time to shoot a scene where they explain the significance of the black suit, which I guess they should have probably.
Yeah, but if you know what the suit is, you don't really need an explanation.
No, but that's the thing, is that he doesn't. He has all his powers right from the get-go.
That is true.
No, they're weakened. It's at a weakened state, not as strong as you could have.
No, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah,
right?
he literally
like
beats up all the Justice League.
I see what you're saying. But he could do that regardless of his power level. Superman's just broken.
Well,
I get what you're saying though.
Like, why would he put on the black suit other than to look cool? Because he very clearly has his powers, and why would he want to? I mean, it's Superman. It's not like he's just trying to look cool all the time.
He has to
speed up the
regeneration.
Right, and all the background shots, there's like those war armor ones. Like, wouldn't you want to show up in the war armor to go fight this crazy villain?
He doesn't know what he's fighting. He just came back to life.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm looking right now at this Batman with the purple suit.
Yeah, it's really stupid. It's dumb.
It looks like a McDonald's ad.
Yeah,
with a purple cape.
It's like if Grimace the Hamburglar and Ronald had a kid.
It really is. What's up, Blake?
If we were all superheroes, which one would we be?
Which one would we be, or which would we want to be?
Which one would we be?
Oh,
I don't know.
Zach would be Ezra Miller's The Flash.
Really?
He'd be Barry Allen.
I think so.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think you would be. I don't know.
Edison, I think
I don't know.
You would be Ezra Miller as the Flash.
We're all,
which
Ezra
is so
Miller's
crazy because Cameron.
I'm the hot dog. I call the hot dog.
No, yeah. I would be Michael Jackson's Spider-Man.
Michael Jackson.
Well, that just has nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
Oh, because Michael Jackson wanted to buy Spider-Man from Marvel in like 1999.
Here's the deal. Cameron, Edison, and I are all Ezra Miller, and Blake is the hot dog that holds us all together.
Who's Iris, though? Who's the Iris? Who's my mom? My mom's Iris.
Edison's mom.
Yep.
I actually... Okay, who would we want to be?
I would actually legitimately want to be the Flash, but not Ezra Miller's the Flash.
Okay.
Probably the Hulk.
That's not a
Ooh.
DC character.
God
Oh,
damn!
she said superhero. She didn't say
Superhero.
DC.
It can be
Yeah.
either.
Oh, I thought we were
Oh, it
talking
can
about the
be
Justice
anyone?
League.
No.
Any superhero.
All right, let's start over.
Okay.
Blake, what's your answer?
Blake, what's your answer?
I don't know any superheroes.
Good question.
Why do you ask?
Like, normally, when
You just
people-
watched a 4-hour movie with like 8 of them.
you know, when most people ask a question like that, they typically have an answer.
I think it's fine. Blake, you do you, man.
Wait, I want to be. Can I be
you
a
could
man?
You could
one?
be.
Yes.
If you
Yes,
want to.
Blake. You could be Combo Man.
I want.
Is that just a guy that likes combos the snack a lot?
What's
Short
it?
answer: yes.
Can I be Robin?
Which one?
Yeah.
The dead one?
Go. The dead one?
There's like 8.
Because I feel like Batman and Robin, like Robin doesn't have that much of a responsibility, but it's still like kind of cool. So like that's good enough for me. I don't want to actually have to like save cities and stuff.
There is a
Plus,
girl.
you'd be
I love
the
Robin.
leader of the Teen Titans.
Oh hell yeah!
True.
I'll go with
true.
Robin.
Cool.
That's cool.
All right, Cameron, you're going the Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had to choose a specific one, probably Professor Hulk,
Right.
because I'd like to have some intelligence.
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't.
No.
I actually legitimately my answer is still the
Thor would
Flash.
be
I've
cool.
always loved the Flash. Every time somebody asks me what superpower I want, it's super speed. Is there even a speedster in the Marvel universe? I'm feeling dumb. I
Quicksilver.
don't think there is.
Quicksilver, Speed.
Oh,
Literally,
Quicksilver, that's right, yeah,
Wanda's son.
Ralph Boner? Anyone?
Nice, Ralph Boner. Nice little one.
I wanna
There's
shoot.
actually there's another one called Quickball, but he becomes tenant after killing kids.
Oh, just like
Hayward.
Hayward.
Yeah.
No, but
Um,
he kind of blows up. He's like, oh my god, I killed like 60 kids. I'm gonna make a suit that's full of needles that inject into my. I run faster.
Okay, Anakin. Yeah, I'd want to be the Flash.
Zack.
You know what? This character, I feel like a lot of people criticize because, you know what? I'll just say I like Superman. I think Superman is cool. I like Superman as a character. I don't think he's boring. I think he's interesting, especially when you give him an interesting kind of moral dilemma concept. But anyway, I would want to be Superman because you give me all those powers. I'll fly around the earth. I'll spin it back in time. I'll go beat up Batman. That sounds
Nice.
sick.
Yeah, I mean, Superman can be a cool character. I think you see it the most obvious in this movie that Superman is just overpowered and the Justice League don't need to do anything.
Right.
So
Well,
They honestly,
Superman
they don't need the
could've- he
Justice League.
could've-
They
he-
only need Superman, basically.
That,
So-
actually,
Yeah.
I was
But
noting
then
that
they need the Justice League.
right in the original cut of the Justice League, it definitely feels like they were just like the only hope they had was Superman coming back and helping them. But in this movie, it actually felt like they had a fighting chance even without Superman, right?
hmm
Be-
I would agree.
Because
I mean, no chance of beating
Um,
Steppenwolf. Yeah.
Well, only probably because they had Wonder Woman, which I think Wonder Woman is the next strongest. I mean, they kind of portray Wonder Woman as kind of being almost Superman level.
right.
You know
Well,
what I
she is a
mean?
god, right?
Yeah, she's like
He is
a
nowhere
god. She's
near as
literally
strong
God.
as Superman.
I feel like she
Yeah, I
should
know
be.
she's not as powerful. She's definitely
Yeah.
more powerful than the rest of them.
Right.
Correct. Like physically, yeah. She is actually pretty comparable to Aquaman.
y'all are wrong.
Oh yeah, because he's a god too, I guess.
We're
Aquaman is
wrong? Blake, why are we wrong?
Aquaman is
The
actually
hot dog
incredible.
fucking strangles people.
Oh my god!
the villain of this
If-
movie is a
See,
hot
what
dog.
hot dog.
would have been funny is if
Can we just talk about the hot dog?
out and he throws it at Steppenwolf and he distracts him because he doesn't know what hot dog is.
I mean, okay, so I just want to say,
do you guys like hot dogs?
This movie's so hard to pay attention to, and that's why we're going off topic so much. There's a lot of things that happen.
Well, we can't go scene by scene. It's not
right. We can't go scene by scene, and it's not really that interesting to go scene by scene. The plot is like kind of boring. It's okay.
It's just not good Infinity War. I mean, they go around finding these dumb-looking boxes. Like, oh my god, those are the stupidest objects that they could have picked. They were like, oh my gosh, we got to do Infinity War. Infinity War, they had the Infinity Stones that were all glowy and they fit into this gauntlet. What are we going to come up with, guys?
The primary color.
3 boxes.
Well, they didn't come up with the mother boxes. They just used them.
Wait, is Infinity War the one with the blue guy?
He's purple.
Which,
he's purple.
No.
You talking about Thanos?
Did you think he was blue? Are you thinking of Woody Harrelson's character?
Am I thinking of
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Smurfs?
You're thinking of.
You could be thinking of the Smurfs.
Could be thinking of the Smurfs.
I can't believe Thanos was a Smurf the whole time.
The whole time. That was kind of crazy.
The big twist reveal at the end.
He's kind of weird looking, right? He's like lumpy.
Yeah, he's got lumps.
Okay.
That's a bit rude.
He's kind of buff, though.
He has a medical condition.
Oh, no.
Actually, it's why he's so buff. It's because he has a medical condition.
So I wrote down
Thanos?
during the fight scene at the beginning of the movie, the flashback fight scene. I'm just looking through my notes here, and I wrote down no more Green Lantern, foreshadowing, only to be very disappointed at the end of this movie.
Yep. Because, they totally set it up like, oh, yeah, Green Lantern will appear at some point throughout this movie because they show the ring and it flies off in space. But no, they set up Martian Manhunter because there's this dumb scene where it's Martian Manhunter is telling Lois to stop being depressed. And then he turns into this other person. He's like, the world needs you. Then just walks away. I'm like, this is a pointless scene.
Also, does it?
If we're going to talk about pointless scenes, let's talk about the end credit scene with
what is the end credit?
Deathstroke and what's his face as Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Probably
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg, yeah, he's the worst. First off, he was the worst character in Batman v Superman. I
love Jesse Eisenberg. I like Jesse Eisenberg's take on Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman when he has hair. I think it's interesting, like the playboy billionaire but young. I think that's interesting.
He's just Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe it's just because I've seen The Social Network and loved that movie, but I feel like it's the same.
Right. Well,
I don't think he knew what character he was playing though.
He probably didn't.
He was playing like 3 different characters at the same time, and Lex Luthor was not one of them.
It was Bane. 3
times.
I mean,
I think they're trying to do something. I think they're trying to shake it up a little bit.
He totally, you know what? Put him as the Riddler. That would have probably been the best choice. Make him Lex Luthor. He would have been the best Riddler.
Riddle me this.
He's better than Jim Carrey.
You guys want to know probably one of my biggest problems with this movie?
What's that?
Sure.
And most of it has to do with the way it all wraps up. Is that I feel like it's setting up movies that we're just never going to see. So I was kind of like, why am I watching the end?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I kind of wish.
Well, that's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish they just had a kind of like banger of an ending. Which I felt that the final battle, like, I know it was cool when Flash, like, turned back time. If I could turn back time! Sorry, that just popped in my head.
That should have been the song that they played. That would have been funny.
That should have been the song. That would have been funny. But, I literally felt like, maybe it's because I already knew what happened, or maybe because I'm just jaded because I've seen a million superhero movies, but, like, I knew they were gonna win, and I knew that it was gonna end up okay, and like I really didn't feel like there were any stakes at all probably during this entire movie, which I know they wanted me to feel that way, but I just didn't. Like I didn't care. Right. And then I wish they had maybe spent the time and made the conflict a little bit more interesting and had a more satisfying conclusion to the main story rather than just have this kind of setup to stuff that I would like to see, because I really would like to see a Zack Snyder movie where they are all in this kind of doomsday world where Superman is evil and Batman is wearing goggles.
Right, and fighting alongside Joker and Deathstroke.
Yeah, that would be so sick. But we're never going to see that, and that's kind of a bummer.
Also, canonically rip my celebrity crush, Margot Robbie.
Ooh, that's gotta be rough for you, Edison.
I saw this poster the other day, and it was one of those awful fan-made posters, and it was for a GTA movie, and it listed all these actors, and it listed Harley Quinn. Not Margot Robbie. It was listed as Harley Quinn.
That's funny.
It was so funny. But anyway, rest in peace, Margot Robbie, the best character in any of these movies, probably.
Probably in any movie ever.
She's probably the best superhero in any of the DC movies.
Nope, I would strongly disagree.
Who is?
Shazam.
Who?
Either Zachary Levi as Shazam or the kid actor that plays Bill. Either of them.
Yeah, I mean they're both good, but
are better characters.
They're both good.
I like Batfleck.
Batfleck's good.
Will
like
Smith's Deadshot, I would say, is better.
No. I can hard agree.
Henry
I can hard
Cavill's
disagree.
Henry Cavill's Superman.
He's pretty good too. They're all pretty good.
Yeah, they're all pretty
Thank
good.
God the mustache thing's gone. For any of our listeners at home who don't know about this, in the Justice League, for some reason, they needed to take more shots of Henry Cavill, but he was shooting a pretty good Mission Impossible film where he had a mustache. So Warner Brothers approached whoever was doing this Mission Impossible movie, and they were like, hey, can we get Henry Cavill to shave his mustache, and we'll spend all the money for you. We'll give you all the money to digitally put on a mustache, which is not a thing that's ever been done before. And they were like, no, why would we let you do that? And so they were like, fine, we'll digitally remove the mustache. And they did it horribly. It looks so bad. And I didn't notice it, at least. It's the opening shot of Justice League, is that. But I don't think it's even in the Snyder cut.
No, because most of these scenes, right, are
they
new.
Fixed it. A lot of
they fixed it, or they had him shave.
Well, no, he didn't come back. Henry Cavill didn't come back for any reshoots. I don't know if you know this, but only 7 minutes of the movie. Only 7 minutes of the movie are reshoots. Everything else was just footage they already had. Yeah, the only thing. The only thing they had to shoot was Jared Leto Joker.
They should have just cut that. Just cut that from the movie.
I agree. It was not worth the extra 10 minutes. But everything else was footage they already had. Henry Cavill.
Props to Joss Whedon for cutting 2 hours out of the movie.
Right. There was also some Ben Affleck stuff.
The Ben Affleck.
The stuff
with the Joker.
No, he didn't shoot that. That was already shot, I think.
How was that already shot?
Maybe they shot it.
No, they absolutely got Ben Affleck in the studio.
It might be that whole
scene.
That scene. Yeah, it might have been that whole scene, but it was only that. That was the only thing. And maybe the thing at the end, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, everything else was footage they already had because it was seriously going to be a 3-4 hour movie already.
They totally could have fit this in less than 3.5 hours.
This movie is so sponsored by Mercedes. Everywhere I'm looking, there's a Mercedes.
Yep.
I think this movie is sponsored by hot dogs.
If they cut to the Batmobile and it had the
Mercedes
logo on it.
Wait,
everything's a Mercedes in this movie. The car company. That's a real life thing. That's not even a movie reference.
We really live in a Mercedes.
It's Mercedes Snyder. It's Zack Snyder's wife.
It's his daughter. Rest in peace, Mercedes Snyder.
Let's talk about some of the. Oh yeah, he was in this movie. Probably one of the better parts of the movie.
Who?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. He was Commissioner Gordon.
I don't like it.
Why?
I don't think he's a good Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
What?
His vibe just doesn't mix with Commissioner Gordon for me. I just don't get it.
I think it's because Commissioner Gordon is the exact opposite of what's his name from the
J.J. Jameson.
J.J. Jameson.
J. Jonah.
Well, also this is supposed to be an older Commissioner Gordon. It's 20 years after Batman retires.
Yeah.
He's no Gary Oldman, that's for sure.
Nice.
It's fair. Let's talk about what was the one thing that we what was the one thing
talking about this movie.
What's the biggest dislike that we all have in the movie? What was your biggest
dislike?
Yeah.
Blake, what was your biggest dislike?
Y'all have already heard mine. It's just not. It's not good for an audience who doesn't have knowledge on this.
Yeah.
I think it's just too long. It doesn't need to be as long as it is.
Sure.
Again, I got through it, and pretty comfortably, but I don't think it didn't need to be that long. There was no reason for it to be.
Zach, what about you?
I feel like there were a bunch of scenes where they were like, "Oh, we have to like set up this whole bunch of stuff, so we're gonna have a scene where the Justice League stands around and talks about like expositional dialogue, or like we're gonna have Steppenwolf go talk to some master guy so we can get expositional dialogue." When I'd rather they have taken the 4 hours and instead of having a scene where they just talk about stuff that's going on, they like showed stuff going on. You feel?
I do. Yeah, I know what you mean.
My biggest dislike is Cyborg.
Like,
what?
As a character?
Oh my!
I actually I prefer him in the Justice League.
I disagree.
I think it was cool. I like the character. I thought it was pretty shitty writing that they gave him. Acting was not great.
What?
All right, so here's the thing, right? So because he spends a good 3 hours of the movie being like, "I'm a monster. My dad made me this way. Fuck my dad." Like he's trying to be too edgy, right? For no reason, right? And then he like listens to this tape recorder, and then he gets to like not even the whole way through, and then he crushes the tape recorder, comes back, and then he stalks this woman on like every security camera known to man. Gives her $100,000. He's like, maybe I'm not so bad after all. I could be like an edgy Robin Hood. Nah. I'm going to meet up with Wonder Woman. I'm going to hack into the back computer. She's trying to find me. I'm going to meet her in this dark alleyway. I'm going to shut off all the lights. I'm going to be like, why are you following me? What do you want? It's so, because there's enough character development where you're like, okay, yeah, he changes after the death of his father. That's when he changes. He should have changed long before that, but that's fine. And most of the scenes that you can take out of this movie are whenever we go like inside of Cyborg, and it's this weird astral plane where he can just like I didn't need to see that. That's just a weird, stupid. He does it about like 4 times. And those 4 scenes, I think, in total wrap up to about 5 minutes. You can just take all those out. They don't need to be there. I don't need to see him launching nuclear warheads.
I do think that this movie was absolutely made as a Cyborg story. So I disagree as well.
I think I totally empathized with Cyborg's character, and like I totally bought that he would be like, after everything he had been through, like upset with his dad and like have a reason to be kind of acting the way he was. And I liked that he was kind of this like Robin Hood character that would like kind of like hack into ATMs to give money to people that probably needed it. And I thought he was cool and was a really valuable addition to the movie, for sure.
I thought it was actually the best edition of this movie.
But that's just my take, I guess.
I would say Darkseid's the best edition.
Is he not in the original movie? I thought he was.
Nope. They hint at him in the original movie.
Oh, he's not in it? I thought he was. I can't.
Because they say he. They play the pronoun game a lot in this movie.
I feel like we've gone too long without referencing and talking about the hot dog. So how do you guys feel about the Flash cooking a hot dog?
I feel like it should have just blown up in Iris's face.
It should have blown up. It should have blown up.
Feel about the hot dog?
I think there should have been a 4-hour slow-mo shot of the hot dog.
The hot dog? I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Snyder dog. I want to see. Well, I want to see what slow motion like looks like to Barry Allen, and I want to see I want to see that scene from his perspective.
You know what is cool with the slow mo though is when they're doing that one scene where Superman just wakes up, and then the Flash is doing the slow mo, and then Superman just kind of moves with the Flash's tempo because Superman also has super speed. I was like, that's kind of sick. I'm kind of into that.
Right.
It's cool. I like how they never really go into the ramifications. Is if Superman can go as fast as the Flash, that's pretty dangerous. I know he can't, but it's pretty dangerous if he could.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that scene's not in this one.
Which I'm totally fine with. I didn't need to see an after-credit scene of Henry Cavill racing.
Right.
Because the Flash wins. That's just how that scene would
Right, exactly. That's his whole character.
And I think they had explained it. There was something where, actually, I know Matt Pat on Film Theory did a video about this, and he was like, in the world of DC Comics, it's actually really dangerous for Superman to go that fast. Because it's something like trying to bring the realm of science into the realm of superheroes, where if Superman were going that fast, he would like make everything explode. Flash doesn't because of
the Speed Force.
Yeah, which I think which is cool. It was a cool like name drop that he gives it like it's a random like thing that he says to Batman.
I feel like Barry Allen could absolutely just beat every single one of these villains, right? Like I know
villains or
the villains. Like I know he's stupid, right? Like that's his character, and I hate that, but it's his character. But if he can move that fast, what's stopping him from going around? Because he can move. I mean, theoretically, he can move at the speed of light, right? So what's stopping him from going around with the things like whatever can kill any of them, and just going at a normal enough pace for him, and just running around and just using his elongated arms and just like throwing something into their eyes?
Because then Batman would have nothing to do.
Well,
it's true, and Batman already did nothing.
I know he really didn't do anything, but like, and I know that they wouldn't do that, but like character-wise, couldn't he just beat everybody? Like they don't need Superman.
Well, realistically, right? Everyone besides Batman could solo the villains.
I think Batman could solo the villains.
He totally
give him enough time to prep.
If they gave him the suit from Batman v Superman, 100% he solos, or he has a better chance of soloing Steppenwolf. Without that, I don't.
Right? Why wouldn't he have it?
Yeah, I mean, if they gave him prep time. Sure.
I mean, Batman's whole shtick is that he's like supposedly the smart one. Have you guys seen that YouTube video of Batman talking about how he would defeat every other member of the Justice League? It's kind of funny.
Yes.
There's a great comic book story. It's called The Tower of Babel, and there's a villain called Ra's al Ghul. He was actually in the first Batman movie with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he's
the
pit,
the story. Ra's al Ghul finds the plans that Batman used, like to take down the Justice League, and then he almost kills everyone in the Justice League with those plans. They're like Batman, what's your plan? And he says, I don't have one. Why? And he said, well, because the Justice League is there to be from. He gives some explanation, and it's along the lines of, I would either A, never turn evil, or B, you guys would stop me before it happened. Like it's super cool. He has like all the plans he has are pretty well made.
Right. Yeah, if Batman was turning evil, like Superman could probably easily kill him. Right?
Superman, yeah. They never really discuss it in the comics, but like realistically, Superman always beats Batman because
or again,
Superman
like the Flash.
Yeah.
The Flash is like so ridiculously overpowered because you could go at any single point that a villain is at all vulnerable. He could just run in there without them even knowing and kill them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same for Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman's not as fast.
You know what I was thinking about Aquaman during the entire movie? I was like, they should get this guy some water.
Yeah, he was out of water for majority
He was fighting
of the
with
movie.
no water the whole movie. I was like, dude, your name's Aquaman, bro.
He did fly. He did fly at that one point.
He jumped. He jumped really far.
That's true.
He can't fly.
That was kind of interesting. Oh, and he spears Steppenwolf. I didn't expect that. That was kind of crazy.
I wish they gave him. I know it's supposed to take place before Aquaman. I wish they gave him the Trident of Atlan. It was a cool Trident. Also, would have been cool.
Yeah,
because when they cut to when it's the first fight scene, when it's like everyone against Darkseid, which is the best part of the movie. They show King Atlan and he has his trident.
The fight scenes in this movie look unlike any other fight scene I've ever seen in my life.
In a good way or a bad way?
And that's not exactly a criticism. Neither. It's interesting. I wrote down that it looks like a video game, like 99% of the time. The whole movie does. And the fight scenes in particular, just like, they're so quick, like it moves so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll throw one person against a wall and they'll go flying, not in any it wouldn't actually look like that. Like it looks like in the Marvel movies, like if somebody gets punched across a room, it takes time for them to hit the wall, right?
Marvel's more realistic than DC.
Right, exactly. But I don't mind that. I think that it's kind of interesting, and I kind of like that style that they put it.
I'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe, hold on, I'm still workshopping this idea in my thought. I was about to say I might like DC more than Marvel, but that might be.
That's tough.
Here's the deal. Here's
what,
something.
What aspect of DC?
Here's something that I think is interesting. I guess I really, really like Zack Snyder's vision of these characters, and I think that a lot of the reason why Zack Snyder's movies feel kind of off, talking about like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, this movie, whatever, is because I feel like I would imagine that there is a battle between what Zack Snyder wants to do and with what the studio wants to do. Because, I mean, just tonally and based off Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, whatever, I mean, this movie is R-rated, but they are far more mature and, like, dark and gritty in their approach, which I love. But a lot of the times when I watch his work, I feel like there's kind of this balancing act between him wanting to do the dark and mature stuff, but also realizing that, they have to sell Batman toys and they have to sell Superman toys, and kids have to come see this movie with their families. And like, that's a big part of why superhero movies are successful. So I kind of am so bummed that the Snyderverse is not continuing, because I feel like on HBO Max, it would be a perfect opportunity just to give Zack Snyder some like total creative freedom to do like R-rated superhero stuff, because I love it. I love it. I think it's so creative and different than Marvel.
Yeah, I agree. He could brutally skewer even more.
Yes.
People.
Yeah. So Zach, you had said that, or you're still workshopping it.
I love Marvel. That's my only deal. I mean, I don't hate. I'm not a Marvel hater. I think Marvel is sick. I love the MCU. But I like when I watch. Like, I would recommend for anyone that's like remotely liked the Snyder cut of this movie to go watch the Batman v Superman Snyder cut version of that movie, because there are moments in that movie that are just so visceral and exciting and real, and it's this dark take on Batman where he's like kind of like this, like the idea is that after the death of Robin, he's like kind of lost sense of his moral code and he's just like mowing people down, and I'm just like, it's like so like such a creative approach to the character of Batman as with as Batfleck, and I think that stuff is really sick. Batman mowing people down is like not sick, but like just the creative liberties he takes with the DC characters, I appreciate.
Now, counterpoint. If you want to watch a good movie with a dark Batman, just watch Batman Begins.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even factoring in the Nolan movies in my discussion.
No, yeah, 100%. I would agree. If you want a darker Batfleck, I guess you do.
Yeah, I think I'll check that out. I have a couple of little Easter egg things here. So first of all, we see. I just want to say Amy Adams as Lois Lane is like the perfect casting ever. She's so good.
I disagree. She sucks.
Tell him,
really?
Blake.
I thought she was.
I'm sorry, but like I don't feel like she makes me cringe. I don't like it.
That's hilarious. Lois Lane's not a particularly. She's not a particularly exciting
character. No, and I mean, I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think I disagree.
I love Amy Adams from the Muppets movie. But anyway, Lois Lane is pregnant because she's got a pregnancy test.
Super baby.
Super baby. Well, also in that show.
Oh damn.
There's that show, but I mean, I don't know if that is at all related. But anyway, so when they're having the battle with Superman, Superman punches the Flash or hits him into the gravestone, and the name right next to his head is Ben Parker. Yep. Which is maybe I don't know if that's. I'm sure it's a reference to Spider-Man.
They reference Spider-Man in the Snyder cut?
I doubt it.
Why? I mean, why else would is Ben Parker a name anywhere else?
It's just a normal name. That's like the most normal name of all time. Sure, it's just a coinky-dink.
No, there's no way that one of the most iconic. I mean, Ben Parker. That's like the.
How do you know that? How do you know that Uncle Ben's last name is Parker?
Because they say it.
Do they?
In Spider-Man, yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
I feel like that's. I don't know about that one.
I'm almost positive that one is true. I'm gonna look up if Ben Parker is his name.
Guys, some of the jokes just don't hit.
True.
They don't at all. Yeah, Ben Parker, that's his name. Benjamin Franklin Parker. I'm saying no way that it's a coincidence. I mean, that's not something. If it was like a regular movie, sure, but a superhero movie, no way.
Testing.
Well, I guess you know that
really weird.
Uncle Ben is actually showing up in Flashpoint as the Flash. Did you guys hear about that? Blake, I agree that some of the jokes were not funny.
No,
they were really
not. It's just uncomfy.
What were some of the best uncomfy jokes in this movie?
I don't like the whole.
I feel like I forgot them.
I don't know. Like on the lasso thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? When he sits on the.
I do.
Like...
Yeah, I do.
You know what
I've got an uncomfy joke that I wrote down.
I don't want to hear it.
Let's hear it.
You don't want to hear it?
Hit me.
So, I lost it. Where'd it go? No. Oh, so Cyborg says, "I'm always fully dressed," right? And he was scowling about it, and I said he's never fully dressed without a smile.
Wait, that's just your joke?
Danny?
Yeah, I said it was an uncomfy joke. I wrote
wow.
that.
That was just
sucked.
Bad.
I know.
Very
that's
good.
what.
Why did you write
That's
that?
what I literally I prefaced it. That's what I do while I'm watching these movies.
Uncomfy's just like cringe. That was just like bad.
I'm trying to think.
You just cut it out.
Doesn't no, don't cut it out. We're keeping that in. We're keeping that in, baby.
No.
Keep it in.
Yeah, okay. You start editing
guys,
it, and
guys,
you can keep it in.
Snyder cut, Zack cut of the podcast. Let's make Edison's job difficult.
The amount I already spent so many hours doing this.
So I guess, and now
how much time left?
We now give our review of the movie.
Yeah, we'll do final thoughts.
Yeah, because I just don't care. I literally do not care to talk about this movie at all anymore.
Okay, yeah.
This movie was not as excruciating as Spider-Man, and I wanted to talk about Spider-Man.
True.
This movie is so bland.
Yeah, it's actually
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed watching this movie, and I don't want to talk about it.
I feel like there's not much to talk about.
I'm pretty much done. So let's start wrapping things
up.
How do
we think? How do we think it compares?
It's better than the other two movies we've watched. There's no way it's not.
I disagree.
I'd rather watch Detective Pikachu, but I'd rather watch Pikachu
as a movie. I would rather watch Justice League. It's a better movie, right?
From a like an objective standpoint, I would say that Justice League Snyder Cut is a objectively better movie. I'd rather watch it.
Right. So
I would rather watch Spider-Man or Detective Pikachu personally, but that's just me.
That's fair.
Yes.
So what are we rating this 4-hour movie out of 10?
Let's all go around and give final thoughts. Blake, final thoughts and your rating. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I do have respect for this movie, and it stinks that I just don't have any background, so I mean, yeah, it was just a negative experience for me.
Blake, we'll get together and we'll have a Snyder-thon.
Okay.
Like
maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Compared to the other movies, I think that there were some really, really, really cool moments in this, and it's I think it's a good movie. I mean, I didn't like it, but I think to other people this could be a good movie. But I don't have a rating just yet, so you gotta come back to me.
Sounds good.
All right, Zach. What would you give this 4-hour movie?
Ooh. All right, I'm kind of conflicted. So again, to reiterate, I love that this movie exists. I wish that the Snyderverse would continue, but I think if I were to try and look at this movie more objectively, I feel like it's definitely not perfect, and I don't know if it is the greatest. It's definitely not the greatest superhero movie ever made. I think some people probably hoped and dreamed it might be. I think It has a lot of problems. I really felt no emotions while watching it. I'm someone who really highly values kind of emotional resonance just in art in general, and I just like didn't care. Um, I thought there was a lot of slow-mo. I thought a lot of the music choices were weird. I didn't like what they did with some of the characters. I liked what they did with Cyborg for sure. I like what they did with the Flash. Um, I just it was I'm glad I watched it. I don't know if I'll ever need to watch it again really. I guess I unironically would rather watch Detective Pikachu or The Amazing Spider-Man 2 over this movie. I'll give it a I'll give it a I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm sorry.
Hey. Cameron, you want to go next?
Sure. So there were definitely a few great moments throughout this movie that I think carried it. The fight with Darkseid, most of the cool shots with the Flash where he saves Iris, when he catches all the rubble, in the island scene, and then the final scene when he goes back time. Um, I think they did a pretty bad job, in my opinion, of getting good writing for characters like Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, the Amazons, Superman's mom. Could have actually, I preferred her more in uh, her previous movies than this one. I thought that there were too many like negatives, which is pretty normal for a DC movie. Too many negatives for me to consider it one of the better ones. However, it is definitely in the list of DCEU movies. Definitely a solid second. Shazam is a better movie by far. But I'd rather watch. Yeah, I would agree with Zach. I'd probably rather watch Detective Pikachu. Definitely would not rather watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Why it's the
Because
best movie made.
there are almost no redeeming qualities to it. But I'm probably gonna give it 3 out of 10.
For Emma Stone. A 10?
3 out of 10. 3.5 out of 10.
3 out of... Wait, it's that much worse than Detective Pikachu?
I would rather watch Detective Pikachu.
Okay, so
it's a 4.
You're gonna,
okay, it is a 4-hour movie, and we don't see the Justice League until about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
The
Spider-Man,
that's the length of the Avengers. We see the Avengers within the first like 30 to 45 minutes, and we know what their plan is. Like,
see, you're all gonna yell at me for this, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I genuinely enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's
there
great.
were a lot of parts that were dumb. It was too long, but I watched it in 2 sittings, which made me really get through this. I genuinely enjoyed watching it. There were a lot of parts that I was like, oh, that's a lot of fun. I was not expecting that. I really like the Flash stuff. It looks great. There's not a lot to talk about with this movie. It's pretty bland. You know, I'm sure I was eating poutine during one of the watching sessions, you know. So I was vibing. You know how it is. And so I was like, I enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed this movie, and it's not the best movie ever, right? But it's also not the worst movie ever. I definitely liked it more than Detective Pikachu. Not all of it, but I liked it. I liked it a lot better than Spider-Man.
How dare you?
I know.
So what would you give this movie?
I think it gets a 7 for me.
Interesting.
Because if both Spider-Man and Pikachu got a 5. And it is that much better of a movie to me. But it's not the best movie ever. It's not a 9 or a 10 or an 8. But it is significantly better than Spider-Man to me. So that's why I'm giving it a 7. That's
See, but there's no scene in this movie where Ben Affleck gets frustrated with Alfred and then jumps on his bed and starts listening to Home by Phil Phillips.
I would like to point out...
And then doesn't solve his problem.
That's right. I would like to point out that right now, without Blake's input, we have the Snyder Cut Justice League ranked as the worst movie so far.
Are you guys ready?
Moment of truth! Oh my god!
2 out of 10.
Oh my
good god!
It
was pretty good.
Edison.
This scored 3.5 points less than
Take it from me. Someone who has no idea what's going on. Do you know how awful that was? 4 hours of being confused and getting angry because I don't know what the hell is going on.
Well, it's not for you.
Well, yeah, but I still have a say.
No, I know.
Yeah, what about all these HBO Max peeps that have HBO Max that are like, oh, let me turn this on?
Well, they could watch the other ones first.
They could totally just watch anything else for 4 hours.
But who wants to have to watch like all those Snyder movies to like?
I mean, I guess. See, but watching the Justice League first is like watching Iron Man 3 first. You know.
You can also totally get enough character development out of Tony Stark and Iron Man 3. Like, I could totally watch this by itself.
Wait,
yeah,
guys,
that's true.
I just had the craziest revelation. Is that the right word? Craziest thought.
It's revelation, but you go ahead and keep saying relevation. Zach just had the craziest renovation.
Guys.
Craziest rotation.
I had the craziest renaissance.
Guys, the Randall Park that Zach just had.
All right.
The Revenant that Zach just went through.
I just had the craziest thought. But this movie is trying to be like Infinity War and Endgame, right?
Right.
But didn't the 2017 Justice League come out before Infinity War?
Yes.
Yep.
So maybe Marvel is just a big old copycat.
Nope. Because Marvel had set it up prior.
Also, Batman v Superman.
They had about
came out before Civil War, huh?
They had set up Civil War about 5 movies prior.
Well, wait, whoa, that's not true.
They had set up. It's part of the conflicts you see when we first meet Iron Man versus Captain America.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I just think it's, I don't know, whatever.
Somebody else did the outro. I'm exhausted.
I think you're just trying to make a point about something that's not true.
I just had the craziest rotation. Whatever.
Anyways,
should I take the outro here?
Yeah,
Zach, right now we have Snyder Cut ranked below The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Snyder Cut comes in at a whopping 16.5.
I just feel like there's no way the Snyder Cut was worse than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, too late now.
Well, that's what we rated it, so.
Fellas and ladies, thanks for
the outro. This podcast has been such a mess.
Follow us on Instagram.
The way, actually, Zach, you stop. I'm gonna start taking this outro. This movie absolutely wrecked us. It was not. I don't know why it was so hard to talk about this movie, but it absolutely was.
It's also worth pointing out that we started recording at roughly 9:45. It's currently 11:20. We're all very tired. Yeah.
Zach's talking about his rotation over there.
His resemblance.
I'm basically a Beyblade.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tune in next week for Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla v Kong. All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a like and subscribe. We would really appreciate it.
Tune in next week. We'll be watching Cat in the Hat.
That's just a lie.
That's not even on the list of movies for us to watch.
It's also just not true.
I'm just trying to debate our viewers.
But we already said that we were watching Godzilla vs. Kong, and they already know the movie after that is The War Axe. So you're
we live in a society.
Bye.
My God.
Bye.
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 Bye.